If you're still working part-time, or maybe your folks are in their 70s, should you be contributing to a Roth IRA? I've got a few scenarios where you absolutely should. That and more coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, did a video recently talking about rules, income rules with funding Roth IRAs, and there's no age limit. There is no age limit for funding a Roth IRA. You can be as young as, I don't know, 14? Is that how old you need to be to get a job? I don't know. I've got a 13-year-old right now, so I'm about to find out. I will tell you that. But there's no upper age limit either. There used to be with the IRA, not anymore. And so for the Roth, it's, well, do you have enough earned income? You need to have earnings. You need to have paycheck money and in order to contribute to a Roth. But you can't have too much overall income or adjusted gross income. So it's not a narrow window, but it's this window that if you meet those criteria, you can contribute to a Roth. Well, how much can you contribute? Well, up to 100% of what you earn, that paycheck money, but up to the IRS set limit, which is $7,000 for 2024. So if you are working part-time, or you've got a child that's working part-time and they make $3,000, you can contribute $3,000. If you make well north of that, then you can only contribute $7,000, an extra $1,000 if you're age 50 or older. But if your overall adjusted gross income is too high, say, married, filing jointly up, 250 and higher, then you actually can't contribute to a Roth. So in one of those videos, had a fan of the show leave a comment saying, well, my folks are working part-time in their 70s just to stay busy. Are you saying they should contribute to a Roth? And the answer is an emphatic yes. Yes, absolutely. And I'm going to share a couple scenarios as to when it's like a tangible yes, when you absolutely should. There's one scenario where you wouldn't. But the reason why I would start with the assumption is yes is because there's really no downside. There's no downside. If you're in your 70s or you're, honestly, if you're past 59 and a half and you don't have enough income where you're not eligible to fund a Roth, there's no downside. You can put the money in your Roth, and if you say, need it, I shouldn't have put the money in there, I need it back out, take it right back out. There's no penalty. As long as you are over age 59 and a half and you've held a Roth IRA for 5 years, cumulative, not that exact Roth IRA. It doesn't even need to be consecutive. This is the 5-year rule. If you have a Roth IRA or have had one for at least 5 years, you can put the money in, take it right back out. And so there's really no downside unless you invest it poorly, or you put it in and invest it for the long term, but then need it in the short term and the investments had gone down. But as far as access to the money, no, you put the money in, hopefully it's growing or earning some interest, it's doing that tax-free, and then you pull the money right back out if you need it. The one scenario where you wouldn't want to do this is not only if you're in your 70s and you're working part-time, but you're working part-time because you need the income. You're working part-time because you're supplementing your Social Security or maybe a pension, and you don't have other resources to draw from. That's the time, this is still a financial planning decision, but that's the time where you say, yes, you could put the money in, take it right back out, but if you need it for your ongoing monthly expenses, then don't do it. But there's 3 other very clear scenarios where maybe you're in your 70s and you're working part-time, but 3 very clear scenarios where that initial yes becomes a yes, you should be doing this. The first is in this example or this question. Hey, my folks are working part-time in their 70s just because they're young, healthy, they want to contribute, and they don't really need the money. Obviously a little extra pocket change doesn't hurt, but they're not working because they need to supplement their income. They're working because they're young, healthy, and want to contribute. In that case, you've got enough other resources coming in that you don't need this extra paycheck money. Absolutely, without a doubt, I'd be putting that into the Roth IRA. And again, like I said, if 6 months down the line, 12 months down the line, 2 years down the line, you say, we actually do need that money, then you take it right back out. As long as you've met the 5-year rule, and as long as you're aware of, well, what is the time horizon for this money? Because if you say, I'm just going to invest in the market, and then, the market happens to go down, as it certainly can in the short term, you wouldn't want to then draw the money right back out. So if you think, well, yeah, we don't need this money, but we might need it in a year or a couple of years, then I would still put it in the Roth, but I'd have it in something that's lower risk and just interest bearing. You might say, well, shouldn't I just put it in the CD then, or at the bank? Well, yeah, doing that, all the interest that you'd earn, and maybe not that much, but the interest you'd earn would be taxable, laying on your tax return. You put that in a Roth and then hold it in a savings account, money market, CD, and that interest is tax-free. So putting that money in the Roth, if you're earning income part-time and you don't need the income, you've got resources coming in from other places, then putting that money in your Roth makes a ton of sense. Second scenario, where if you're in your 70s and you're working part-time, where you absolutely should contribute to the Roth, is if you have other resources in your portfolio, your overall nest egg, that's not sheltered, that's not sitting in a tax-sheltered account. Here's the example. Well, I'm working part-time, and yeah, this is giving me a little pocket change that, I don't want to send this money into a Roth because I kind of like it. It's meaning that I don't need to draw as much out of my other investments. Okay, well, do you have other investments that are not in an IRA, or maybe do you have excess in your bank account, something like that? If that's the case, the simple fact that you've worked part-time means that you're able to contribute that same amount or that IRS limit into an IRA. It doesn't need to be those exact earned dollars. They could come from, an individual account, or if you've inherited dollars, from that inheritance, something like that. So if you're working and earning wages, but you've got other dollars that are not in a tax shelter, that are growing and earning interest, but taxable, I would absolutely be contributing those dollars into the Roth. And then final scenario where it's, yes, you should absolutely be doing this is again, in your 70s, that's where the question came from. In your 70s, you're working part-time. If you also are subject to a required minimum distribution, where you're forced to draw some money out of your IRA, but you don't really need it. These are dollars that you would otherwise reinvest, or they're going to sit in the checking account or the savings account. Absolutely, using some of those dollars, you're required. You've got to draw those dollars out. But because you've got earned income, because you're working part-time, finding out the maximum amount that you can contribute to your Roth IRA and contributing into that. Also, I haven't mentioned it yet, but be aware of a spousal Roth IRA contribution that you could make as well. Depending on how much you're earning, if you are working and you're making above that annual IRS contribution limit, then you could max out your Roth IRA. You could also contribute to your spouses as well. So in your 70s, working part-time, or maybe your folks are, should they be contributing to a Roth IRA? Absolutely, you need to consider it. And those are three scenarios where you absolutely should. But work with your certified financial planner, see what makes the most sense for you. This is one of the kind of tax planning strategies that they should come up with when they're looking at all 6 areas of your financial life. So work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K. WiseMoneyShow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.